Yeah,
rolling.
Ready?
I just know that from wrestling.
Oh, look, the leg went up. Okay, okay. You know it's serious when the leg goes up.
It's my signature. It feels
I'm so fat that my
feels
leg
more
right here.
comfy.
Yeah.
I gotta get that. La 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 la. All right.
Singing.
Do we want to kind of go over what we're doing, or just kind of just flow right into it? Because I feel like I'm gonna blank because of.
We're already in it. I'm posting all of this.
All right, go ahead.
But you're the one that has to do the intro.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, man. Just do the intro. I can't wait for all you guys to see how I do it. Right? This is the real us, guys.
For real. All right, about to get started now.
Yeah.
Yeah, get with it. I missed the riff. You gotta psych me up. Give me something.
Man, just do the intro, man. What the heck, man?
Yo, guys, welcome back to The Rip. This is Billy Ruggs and
Mikey Reds.
And we're keeping it real. So we're gonna talk right off the rip.
Off the rip.
Right now it is about 6:09 p.m. Okay. That means that in Switzerland it's about 4 a.m. I just have to throw a little fun fact in there because in Switzerland, tipping is not required.
Really?
It's not part of their culture, and they'll even say like, I don't know why I was just reading this right as I was outside, but so, bro, I'm telling you, I don't know if it's ADHD. I don't know what you described it as, even though I don't think I have it, but tipping is not required over there, and they say like the best way that people tip is to like round up to like the nearest dollar of your bill. Okay. Or you can get 5 to 10%, which here that would be like a sin. Yeah. Like, to businesses for you to do that.
People get offended.
Yeah.
5%.
Right. And over there, that's like their thing, and they just don't want you to like they'll put like a little service charge in the bill, obviously, but they don't want you to like throw in tip or whatever. They said, just round it up if you want to, and that's like to them they're grateful.
I have a question. Do you think it's because Switzerland and Sweden and all those countries over there, they're probably near each other, they don't require it because they're the safest countries in the world and they're so nice over there? Like they're like, hey, we're all so nice, we don't need extra. Like,
right. You know what I think it is? I think it's like you're right, but some of those places, I think because for that same reason, I think they pay their workers enough to where they feel like their pay might be enough to cover their work. You know what I mean? Like here, people don't feel like they don't get paid enough to do what they do, so they feel like they rely on their tips, which they shouldn't, in my opinion. But don't hate me, world. But I feel like people shouldn't.
But again, I think that goes back to the fact that they're so nice that they don't feel this entitlement to be like, I deserve more. Right. Maybe, but
they're happy with what they got, and they're just the
happy,
businesses are nice enough to pay their workers what they're worth.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool. But
they probably live a long time.
That was a little fun fact. But tipping culture here, like no, because one time I went to this restaurant. Should I name the restaurant?
Yeah, let's do it.
Salsa and Beer, North Hollywood. Sorry, I love Salsa and Beer. It has a special place in my heart. And this isn't to talk trash about it. Mm-hmm. But one time I went with a group of friends, and we had just done, we were doing some volunteer work outside in the field, and we went to eat there for lunch. We were having a great meal or whatever. The waiter was nice. I mean, it wasn't like but even then, like I feel like he wasn't as attentive to us because it was a young group of us. So it was like we were like 19, 20 at the time, and like few of us were like 15, 16. Like there was maybe like 6, 7 of us, but because we were so young also, like we didn't have the money to just kind of like one person pays and then you pay me back. It was more of like everybody pay, can we just split it and everybody pays their share. Yeah. So we all paid our share or whatever, but I don't know how tipping went for everybody's receipt. Like we weren't like, hey, tip this much. Like everybody was in charge of what they were supposed to do. So I don't know if people maybe didn't tip or whatever, but I tipped what I was gonna tip. Yeah. We all tipped it, paid the bill or whatever. The waiter took the tab, and then when he came back, he was pissed. Yeah. Like he was pissed because
you're the only one that tipped.
Yeah, but it might have been the case. I don't even think I ever verified if other people tipped or not. It was just kind of like I was like, what is going on? And he's all like, you think I worked all this and I did all this for you. I did well, and I served you all your food, and that's the thanks I get. And I'm like, first of all, I get it, but you're not. I mean, you're getting paid for your job. Like, I don't think somebody should go to the extent where you're telling somebody off because you didn't get a tip. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like, I get food.
Yeah, they should just remember your faces, and when you guys walk in again,
be like
I'm
banned.
not gonna be nice.
Banned for the rest of your life. But you know, in those situations, I'm kind of like I'm with them, because if I was in that industry, I would want to get a nice tip for my work and all that stuff. But at the same time, you can't just go. I don't think you could just walk around and go telling people off for not getting tipped. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think tipping culture has gotten to that point where people feel the need to, for every little thing, they're asking for a tip. And I even feel bad because you're going places and, like, you know, you go buy something and they're like, they turn it around and they're like waiting for you to like put a tip. Like, to me, I'm like, do I just put, like, I feel bad putting skip or a custom amount, put 0, you know?
I'm thinking about it from both sides. Well, how do I even break down this thought? Tipping culture, I think, creates, like I said, like an entitlement, even on the waiter side. Like, wouldn't it be cool if all the waiters just loved to serve people and didn't really expect anything? Now, I understand that it makes, like, you know, they make great money off tips. A lot of waiters make great money, and I'm all for it. And I'm not saying they should all just be this way, but it would be cool if, like, they didn't be. Because I can see why he would go off, but at the same time, like, look, man, you got to do your job anyway. You know, some people are cool, some people are generous, some people are not.
Yeah.
And then that creates like stereotypes. Like, they'll see like certain cultures probably tip more than others, and now it like creates this mental socialism, and they're like, well, maybe I won't be nice to the Mexicans because the Mexicans didn't tip as much as these people, and you know. But yeah, all of that is just, I don't know. It's weird. I personally tend to, I always tip. Now, my tipping varies on the service. Like, if they did great and they were on top of it, and that we didn't have to go like this, and like we're looking for them, and they went above and beyond. Like, I'm
bring
definitely
you that extra refill without you having to ask. You know, man,
and then you were like, "Yo, I wasn't thirsty." Here anyway, sir, just in case you change your mind. Things like that, I tend to tip a lot better. But if they just did one thing and they just brought the food and that was it, and there was no communication, I'm not gonna judge them in the sense of like their character, but I might be like, well, you didn't really do very much. You just brought the food once, and that was it. So maybe I won't tip as good. So that's just kind of how I handle it. But dang, yeah, that's crazy, man. Tipping culture. We need to go to Switzerland.
It's been a thing like out here in the recent years, these past few years. I mean, you know, it's been like, because I could understand tipping if you're going to a sit-down place, somebody's waiting on you. Like, I think that's part of the experience. But if you're going through like
you're talking about like Starbucks or something, when they turn the thing around like $1, $5,
right. Or you go to a supermarket, you're getting something. Maybe not the supermarket, but there's like stores where you're going somewhere, you're like making a purchase, you brought it up to the counter, and they're like, all right, cool, and they turn it over, and you're kind of like, and I've caught myself a lot of the times being like, I walk away and I'm like, why did I even tip? Like, I don't know what they got me. Like, I don't know if I felt the peer pressure of these workers that are just kind of staring at you. They don't even, play it out for like, turn it over and they'll look away.
Bro, God's going to give it back to you, bro.
Yeah, that's
He's going to give it back.
That's true. But some of these people have been nice enough, and I can't obviously name them personally, but you know who you are. There's those workers that they'll be like, once the tip comes out, they're like, skip, and they're like, all right, put your card in. And I'm like, okay.
You just give me a newfound appreciation for them, because I live like a block from Starbucks, and they always do that. Well, there's a few girls that always do that. No thanks, no thanks. And there are some that'll turn around and say, they'll say, because I do Apple Pay, they'll give you the thing, the what's that called? The little
tap
thing. They'll stick it out the window and be like, oh, it's going to ask you a question. And I already know the question.
Right.
And so based on how I feel that morning, did I wake up on the right side? But you just made me appreciate those. They go, no thanks, no thanks.
Yeah.
Or is that just because we're cheap?
Could be.
Oh my God, I'm overthinking this.
Yeah, because my wife brought it up, a good point, because we went to Panda Express also the other night, and they don't. I mean, I don't think they asked for a tip, but we went through the line, we're ready to pay, and then she says, "Do you want to round up, or do you want to give a donation to a certain hospital or foundation?" I don't know what it was, and we said,
to do that.
But we said no, thank you at the moment, no thanks, and she said, are you sure? Not even the few cents to round up to the next dollar?
No, disrespectful.
Oh, yeah.
I might be like, not today, thank you. But she was forcing it.
Yeah, like to be like, are you sure not even the cents to round up to the next dollar? Like, are you that broke? That's what I heard.
Why don't you put the 30 cents
right,
then,
right,
lady?
right. You put it for me, yeah.
No, I'm just like,
but and then we as soon as we walked away, we both looked at each other and we were like, she really just asked that. Like the audacity. I don't know.
Not even 35 cents, guys.
Right.
Jeez. Yeah, no, that's rude.
Yeah, it was interesting.
She must really care about that cause, I guess.
I don't know what that does to her. Like, how does that affect her?
I don't think it affects her neither positively or negatively, unless she has a personal connection with like whatever that disease or something
patient
like that,
or something.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, they do that a lot at Panda Express. Oh, you know what? You got me going now. You know what I hate, because I'm on and off with that. Sometimes I'll do it, sometimes I won't. But what I hate is when you go into Panda Express. Sorry, Panda Express. I love your food, but shout out to Panda Express.
I'm about to rip you.
But shout out. Yeah. No, when you go in and they ask you that in person. In drive-through, it's easy. Not today, or sure, right? But in person,
speaker or something.
Yeah, no big deal. But when you go inside and they ask you and you say yes, they ring a bell. And once I told the cashier, I said, once after I realized that they do that, I came in again, did it again. And I said, hey, can you do me a favor? I'm going to say yes, but please don't ring the bell. She was like, okay, sure. But how come? And I was like, if I'm deciding to be generous, I don't need everyone knowing that I'm going to do that. You know, it just feels weird and feels like maybe I'm doing it for the wrong reason.
Yeah,
so.
you could just tell the whole pod that you're doing it instead of ringing the damn bell.
Yeah, I'm going to say, yo, I do it sometimes. But I'm not going to record it and be like, look what I'm doing, guys.
Right,
ding, ding, ding. Yeah, that's crazy though, huh?
Yeah.
Dang. So are tips a good thing or a bad thing? Let's just conclude with that. Are tips a good thing or a bad thing?
You know what? They're a good thing if they're done from the heart. But at the same time, I think there should be a middle ground. Like, workers shouldn't expect it, but it should just be given out. But also, it should be given out through the generosity of your heart.
Yeah, I'm with you. If both sides is coming from the heart, I think the result will be what it should be.
Right.
Yeah.
It'll work out perfectly.
Well, speaking of generosity, we gave each other, we chose a beverage for each other this time, right? Something that we haven't tasted before. And you still stuck with the easy wings.
I'm still trying to.
I'm the monster.
I'm still trying to figure out that segue.
What segue?
Speaking of generosity.
It was generous of us to choose a beverage for the other.
Okay.
In hopes that the flavor I chose is something that you will enjoy.
Right. But first of all, so you went above and beyond to say that the coconut berry, which I've never had, berry one is the best one you've had.
It's my number one favorite beer.
Well, I'm gonna get right into it.
Get into it, man. Taste it. Let me know what you think.
So I got you the Monster Gold because you said you've never had it before.
Yeah, I was like, gold, I'm down.
Gold and zero sugar because I'm looking out for you.
Hey, just like that story you just said, what I heard was, because you're fat. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I would prefer zero sugar over other stuff. All right, so I
should have got you a black licorice flavored drink or something. Like
black licorice.
Hey, rate it, but be honest and be critical, because these companies make a lot of money to not make good products.
You know, it's pretty good. I like it. I don't know if necessarily it's like levels above every other flavor. Like I feel the distinction is not as.
There is a subtleness. There's a subtleness.
You know what it is for me is especially with energy drinks, like the sugar really is very strong on energy drinks for me. Like I feel the sugar on my teeth. Like it's sweet.
So you feel it on your teeth right now?
Yeah, I feel like the sweetness. I'm like, I gotta have it in like sips.
Maybe you have a cavity.
Nah, I've gone to the dentist, no cavities. But that's why I like the Red Bull, like the sugar-free one is my favorite one because it's not as like on my teeth.
It's not like how? It's not like how?
Like on my teeth.
Oh, got it.
Like it's that feeling.
Yo, you made me like. I
feels
feel like strong.
It almost feels like nails on a chalkboard kind of feeling. Like that. Like that's what I feel with the sugar on my teeth. It's kind of like I gotta have it in doses. But
there's actually something I want to bring up. You just sparked something, but let me just try this Monster Ultra Gold.
I like how they're gonna be like, these guys are huge Red Bull and Monster.
These guys are losers. We're begging. No, just
No, we've always just liked Monsters and Red Bulls. So we're kind of like, oh, that'd be cool to kind of just try either different flavors or different energy drinks. We'll switch it up, but at least to start off. So what'd you think?
The thing about this, it doesn't taste bad. it's pretty good. It has like a medicine kind of flavor. It's really hard to distinguish what it is. You've had it before?
You think it's no, I haven't. You think it's like maybe the diet side of it because it's 0 sugar, so I think it's supposed to be like a diety version of it.
But like you know how with that you can taste that it's coconut, or you can taste that it's berry.
Yeah,
I don't know what is in this thing. Like,
and maybe I'm not.
Hold on, I want to do this. That was good, man. Thank you.
But to kind of give you some credit, like I gotta admit, like I can't be the best taste tester on the planet because I have a terrible sense of smell. Like,
why?
Yeah, weird. I don't know why. It just started like 4, 5, 6 years ago.
Like maybe? You literally can't smell things.
Yeah,
like
it
Jocelyn could fart in the car and the windows will be up and you won't be affected.
Can't smell a thing.
Wow.
And it's been like 5, 6 years of it, and a lot of people are like, "How do you live your life?" But it hasn't been like to me like something where I feel like, man, I'm missing out. It's just I don't know. It's just weird. Like it has to be a very strong smell for me to smell it. Like if you put a candle on right here right now, I can't smell it. Like even if I put it up to my nose, majority of the time I won't be able to smell this candle or whatever. What? Like whatever. So right now you're telling me you could taste the distinct coconut and berries. I can't taste. I just know that it's a good Red Bull, but I can't taste. I can't tell you like, ooh, let me set apart the flavors. It's not as.
So you can't be bougie. You can't be like, I get notes of oak and all this other stuff. No,
not one bit.
But so this is a question. I don't know if the viewers want to Google this because I definitely want to Google it, or maybe we can Google it and put it on the screen.
Yeah.
Does losing your sense of smell change or affect the way you taste your food?
That's a great question.
Like if you bite the In-N-Out burger, you get the same magnificent experience, or is it tainted?
You know what it is? So I've come to the conclusion that it's not necessarily the fact that you can smell it. I think you just need to be able to inhale to get those flavors in your mouth going. Does that make sense? With certain things, to a certain extent. Because if I can smell, right? Like if you close your nose and you try to bite something, you're not going to be able to taste it. Because there's no air coming into your nose cavities or whatever.
Okay.
Like that's why a lot of people when they drink medicine they'll close their nose because they won't be able to taste it as much. Have you never done that? Yeah. So I feel like as long as I can smell, like I feel like that shouldn't. I think that kind of wakes up the taste buds.
You smell, but you don't smell good.
Right. Like, so I still smell the differences in the like I could enjoy like a great. In-N-Out burger with some animal fries and all that. Like I could enjoy it.
Yeah, what's your favorite part of the animal burger? I mean, of the animal of the burger itself, the In-N-Out burger. Like when you bite into it? Because for me personally, I always get an extra cheese because it's the cheesiness that really gets me. Right.
To me, it's a combo because I got to get it with grilled onions.
Same.
So I think it's the combo of the spread, the cheese, and the grilled onions.
You get whole grilled or just grilled onions?
I've wanted to try whole grilled, but I haven't done it yet. So just
we are
grilled
promoting
onions.
In-N-Out. Huh? Yeah, hold on, I got something to say. Excuse me. My whole family works at In-N-Out, by the way. My stepdad, my sister, and my brother at the same In-N-Out with their aunt.
That's wild. Do you get the hookup?
No, man. In-N-Out.
Are you supposed to say that because we're online?
Those 3 employees do not hook me up. Wink, wink. Nah, but yeah, we're a big In-N-Out family.
Do they get sick of In-N-Out?
No. My mom, I think maybe said that she probably can't have it all the time.
Do they get free meals when they're working?
Yeah, they get a free meal. They each get one free meal. Every work day. But nah, they don't. And I don't either. I've had it. There's been weeks where I've had it 3 days in a week, like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Do you get tired of it?
That's heaven. Of In-N-Out or just food in general?
How you think I got here? Why you think Selena looks overweight right now, bro? You know what I'm saying? That In-N-Out, baby.
No, I could eat certain things like over and over again, but I don't do it as much because my wife gets tired of food fast. Like she's like, I just had burgers like twice a week. I can't do burgers right now. It grosses me out. I want to have something that tastes healthier or something. Yeah. So she want to have like, I don't know, like tender greens or pollo loco that's supposedly supposed to be a little. I heard. I think I only had it once and I wasn't impressed.
Bro.
But because I'm not big on salad, man. I'm not big on the greens.
No. Tender greens doesn't only sell salad.
Hold on.
Boy. Hold on. They sell tuna. They sell chicken. They sell meat. I personally get their fried chicken, because they put the fried chicken, which is nicely cooked, on top of this mashed potatoes, and then their vegetables, their roasted vegetables, they're not like cheap vegetables you can make here or you get from the frozen section. They're like unique squashes and mushrooms, and it's honestly really good. It's not heavy either. It's a little expensive, maybe. Well, that's subjective, right? Depends on who you're talking to. But yeah, it's really good. If I could eat there more often, I would. I think there's one not too far from here, but yeah.
Maybe I gotta open my horizons.
Next episode, we'll eat it here on the.
How about, what up, y'all? How about we bring each other, just like we did the drinks, we bring each other a meal that we've never had. We'll hit each other, be like, hey, have you had this before? Nope. Have you had this? Nope.
That's gonna be more. That's gonna be more challenging for you.
Why?
Because I've had everything.
I'm sure I can find a few things here and there. Because we've talked about.
Hey, give me that. Give me that Chinese. That video that got 7 million views that you posted.
Yeah, I went to OK Chinese Food. In Van Nuys, and it's banging. Yeah,
give us free Chinese, you restaurant.
Right.
I'm just saying.
They should have. That was good promoting, man.
7 million views.
7 million views. I got almost 1 million likes on that, just on that video alone. Jeez. Over 12,000 followers on it just because of that video. Like it was weird, but it was great. Yeah. And that line always has. I mean, that place always has a line at the door. So it's because of me. You know, it gotta be because of me.
I'll bring you 10. I know, right? I'll bring you 10 degrees. You bring me that Chinese.
Done.
And we could just, if you want some of the, I'll give you some of the Chinese.
Yeah.
We can I'll get one end of the noodle and then you, and then I eat the noodle and then I give you the other. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Wait.
So
my OCD would kick in with the. I don't know, with the textures and just being all close to each other. I'm big on.
Yeah, I have OCD really bad, huh?
Yeah, I've noticed it. I don't know if it's OCD with you, but I'll notice you always got that tick, right?
Yeah, I've only known 2 other people in my entire lifetime that have the same one, where it's this shoulder movement, like I just gotta move my, and then the neck gets involved, and it's so weird. And I do it with my wrist sometimes too. But I won't be content or satisfied until I get a feeling. It's a feeling that I have to feel, and then I'll stop. But if I don't feel it, I won't stop. And I think the more stressed I get, like I find myself doing it a little more. So that's when it'll get bad. But if I'm chilling and I'm cool, then I won't really do it. But I noticed that, man, throughout the years I've developed.
I think mine are more subtle, like not as obvious as yours. Like I have a lot of OCD with like things that I have to do, or else I won't be comfortable. Like there's obviously the main ones. Like if you're walking on like certain tiles, or like don't step on the lines and stuff like that. Jump over it, or make sure that I'm putting 2 steps on each tile before I walk over. Like little things like that I'm just like subconsciously I'm doing, but I don't recognize that I'm doing it until it's already happened. Or like I lock the door and then I go to bed. And then I was like, did I lock the front door? I got to go back and check again. And then I was like, all right, double check, triple check, cool. And then it'll be fine. But then my wife might ask me like, hey, did you lock the door? And I'm like, I think I did. Let me go check again. And it's like, and it's not that I forgot. It's just like that OCD was like, I know I did, but it's kind of like, what if it just magically just unlocked, something like that. Or the breeze in the room just kind of, just click, it open or something.
Oh my God.
And so like, for me, it was, I'm very like big on that, like having to like double or triple check everything, because then it just bugs me. And then there's other things where I'm more like just me that I can't express, or like I'm even trying to explain what they are. Like
try right now. What are you talking about, really?
Like a lot of things I have to make sure that they add up to 7. Like it's certain words or certain like license plate numbers. I'll find a way so that they add up to 7. Like if the license plate is like 19XR 81, right? I know that for that 9 to become a 7, I can get those 2 1s and subtract it from it, and it's a 7. Or that 8, it's next to a 1, so if I subtract that 1 from the 8, it's also a 7. So and make all the digits so that they equal 7.
So you do these calculations in your brain until you get the feeling of how great it is to think about number 7.
Right. Yeah. Now, and I don't know why 7.
Any other numbers?
I don't know. It's just 7, and or multiples of 7. Like, 14. There's 14, 21 there's 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63, 70, 77.
That's
84.
how you know he's either great at mathematics or
no, because I can do that with it. I gotta
7.
double think it with every other number. But sevens, I know that it's like visual.
Just,
It's
you've
in
been
my
practicing.
mind. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a lot of that, or like just words like Michael has 7 letters in his name. William has that's my real name, William.
Yeah.
I go by Billy. But
You can
William
call him
has
Willie.
Willie, Billy. So that has 7 letters in it. So to me, I'm like, those things are like so satisfying, like I married my wife because her name has 7 letters in her first name.
I can't wait. You married her because
she fulfills
you know
that
what?
that OCD part of my
that
brain.
made it divine, bro.
Exactly.
You'll always be content waking up and going 7.
Jocelyn. Yeah. So it's things like that, and then there's other things where like syllables, like I have to make like a square with my fingers, and I'm always doing this with my fingers. And sometimes you might notice it, but it's very subtle, where sometimes I'm just like doing it without actually doing it. Where I have to, like, the syllables always have to end up on the last square. So if you're viewing it from the camera, I'll start 1, 2, 3, 4, and it always has to end on that last square, the syllables.
Interesting.
So if it's like Mikey Reds, it'll be Mikey Reds, and it ends on that last. It has to end there. And if I did like Mikey Reds, it ends on this one. I gotta find a way, which one do I start with so that it ends on that fourth one. So I always creating that box 1, 2, 3, 4.
I wonder if in elementary school your teacher was talking about syllables and you were holding like the desk and you were like Willie and it just like that practice like just became a part of who you are.
I don't know. I don't know at one point it started, but I just know that at one point it was just like or some sounds where it's in my mouth makes them hollow, like and I can't be satisfied until my mouth makes the actual like it makes like a very strong sound, and then I'm done. But it's not like outer, like it's not exterior, like it's all I can hear it myself. Yeah, I can hear it just. And I would make it, and it's just, but I'm not like over here like looking at you while I'm doing it. I'll just kind of do it while I'm walking around or I'm doing something.
Bro, I'm scared right now. Nah, I'm just like
but it'll just happen, and it's kind of like I just have to do it. And then, that mouth one, it'll come for like a week, and then it's gone for 6, 8 months, a year, and then it'll be back randomly. So little things like that.
What triggers it? You know? Well, you should talk to somebody about
that. And I also
that.
have to wear rings, like one on each hand. Yeah, or else I feel naked or stuff on my wrists.
Me too, bro. But only now that I have the wedding ring. When the wedding ring's off, I have this habit of going like this, and if it's not there, it destroys me.
So if you'll notice with me, like sometimes while I'm talking or doing mannerisms, I'm going like this because I'm like rolling them around or I'm fidgeting with them because I just kind of. But it's not, like I don't know. I just need to feel that they're there, like something on my wrist.
Do you like fidget spinners?
Yeah, I love that little. I love stuff like that. Like I love like the little spinners. Yep, like balancing on her finger, just like doing little fidgety stuff. Like I would always buy it. And I'm like, my wife will be like, "That's for kids." I'm like, I just trust me. I just need it.
What did you say? I'm a man.
Yeah. Or like just Rubik's cubes are very satisfying for me. I could solve a Rubik's cube in like 4 minutes.
We're gonna have to prove that.
Yeah,
we're gonna prove that.
Yeah, let me freshen up on it because I haven't done it in over like 4 months. Just give me. By the next episode, I'll bring the Rubik's cube and I'll be able to do it.
All right.
But it's just reminding myself the steps and all that. But just the fidgeting of it is very satisfying to me to be. I don't do it as fast as like those pros or whatever, but just the motions of it just makes me feel cool.
Have you played with there are these new things that are supposed to help people who need to fidget. And I don't know if you've seen it. You work for a school, so I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
But my wife brought up how these little, they're not ceramic. They're like rubbery mats that have little holes and stuff, and you like push the holes in and. Yeah,
the poppets. To me, those aren't as.
Uh-huh.
Nah, those are more like I think it's more younger age or when it's more your anxiety is more severe or whatever. I think that probably helps more. To me, it's not because that's more sensory. I think like a lot of children use it for sensory, right? They need to feel that feeling of popping. I have a nephew who has autism, and so we try to look for things that'll kind of help him because I work with like a special education field. So a lot of these kids, they have these little things that are more sensory, and they'll need to kind of fidget on something under the table or something. And so I'm always looking to see what attracts other kids. And with my nephew, he likes a lot of the kinetic sand and like we bought him some poppets and stuff like that. And so that's kind of cool to see how that's more like they're not doing it for a specific. I think it's more just like sensory, just feeling the need to have something holding there or whatever. Yeah, just a feeling of it because they're a lot about their senses and their touching and all that stuff. Like they don't like having their hands dirty, like things like that. It's interesting. Yeah, it's cool. It's a whole world over there. So
I wonder how many parents aren't aware of the fact that their children might have something like that, where they look at the children and they go, something's wrong, or they just like, my kid's not learning as much, or maybe they're not put up on those kinds of things, or they don't have the right resources to. Maybe they just don't know. I don't know a lot about it, but I'm with us talking about it. I'm like, I wonder how many families go through that and they don't know that kinetic sand or that something can really benefit them in a grand way.
I think majority of what it is seeing it from the outsider's perspective, because we work with children. I work in a special program where we teach kids with special needs to learn how to read. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of them is because they show characteristics of dyslexia. A lot of them are not officially medically diagnosed with dyslexia or autism or any of that, but they show characteristics of it. So just based on that, we have a whole like IEP or whatever for them. Mm-hmm. And that kind of shows us where they're at and what they need, what their needs are.
So what's their age group?
I work with 2nd grade all the way to 5th grade. So elementary,
So like once the school system starts to see that the kids are at the age where they should already be knowing these things, is when a red flag comes out, like, it could be this.
Right, like they'll have you just see they start falling behind in their reading and all that, and it's because they're not understanding, like, okay, read paragraph 2 and answer the question. They're not getting there because they can't read the problem. So they start having like assessments for them, like with different kinds of personnel. And they'll refer them to us, and then in our program, we'll see them for like an hour and a half a day, teach them reading strategies and send them back. Mm-hmm. So a lot of them, there's a lot of meetings that they've had with a lot of parents, and a lot of parents will, like, they try to suggest, like, get them tested for this, or, not for something specific, but like get them tested just because to see what's up. A lot of parents don't want to, because they don't want to face the reality that their kid that their kid might be labeled with something that is kind of like, no, well, if I just have him with this program, learn how to read, he'll get back up to grade level, when in reality it's something deeper than that. And sometimes it sucks because some of the kids do need the help, and instead so it's kind of it's a hard middle ground, because you can't tell the parents, he might have this, go get him tested. Like, you just got to be like, hey, look, he's demonstrating this, he's showing this. It'd be nice if maybe you did that, and that you got to leave it up to the parents. You can't overstep those boundaries. So it's hard. It is hard, and especially as a parent, I'm sure that kind of freaks you out too, because you want the best for your child, and especially nowadays more than ever, there's a lot of more of those things that
I think the pandemic made it worse, right? Because my wife works at a school also, and she takes care of I think, was it 3rd grade, and 3rd grade, and she just noticed that a lot of the kids are really behind, which wasn't like that pre-pandemic, where to the scale that it's at now. And it just makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of parents, maybe not even consciously, people have to work, and parents have to work, and they couldn't work with their kids as much when they were home, or maybe they had babysitters. But those that worked with them, they're probably doing okay, and those who, for whatever reason, couldn't, they're really behind right now. I feel like there's like what is that called? Like an influx. And
I think it's that gap of online learning. That, if we're being honest, that didn't work for anybody, right? Because you're trying to teach a kid that has a lot of energy, first of all, or they're half asleep. It's one or the other, right? And you're trying to teach them through a screen now, while you're teaching 10, 15 other kids. There's going to be a bunch that are going to fall through the cracks, or they just can't focus. They their mind just doesn't let them focus.
Don't put me on Zoom. I'm going to be on Instagram. Right? A, B.
I was trying to teach and tempted to be going on Instagram. Imagine the kids. So, so a lot of these things is kind of like, you got to take those things into account. And you do see, right? Like the generation that we're having, like the 5th graders that we're having now, I got to understand and be more patient with them, because I know that these kids, when the pandemic was going on, they were in 1st or 2nd grade. So that's when they're the biggest sponges, and they're absorbing everything. So now it's kind of like, if they weren't absorbing this during the pandemic on Zoom, then you probably don't have it by now, So it's a lot of just trying to understand still, like, where we're at, and just trying to fill those gaps, and trying to just, just kind of just connect those bridges again, and make those gaps a little smaller for them, so that they can go on to middle school and not fall through the cracks, still be able to have some guidance and some, so it's cool, it's a tough job, man, but it's also very rewarding,
man, it's a noble job, dude. I know the teachers, they say the teachers don't get paid what they deserve to. I think they have a really difficult job. I think teaching children in general, and parenting, I think it's the hardest job is teaching. And but it is the most rewarding, because as you do it and you see the result and stuff, you feel good about it too. It's part of giving, So I think you have a really noble profession.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man. I just work from home. I'm on a computer all day. I watch podcasts.
Or you make podcasts. You edit podcasts on it.
I edit. That's all I do now. But
Yeah, no, but I mean, it's cool. But yeah, like you said, it's rewarding. It makes it all worth it. And even though, maybe we don't get paid as much as we would maybe want to, or feel like maybe people feel like we deserve, it's also very rewarding. We get paid with those rewards.
There you go. You don't need that extra tip, baby. I see you. Okay.
I'm happy. I'm working with what I'm worth. So.
And how does the wife feel about your job? Yeah, how does she feel about your job? Like, yeah, tough question. Huh?
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever been like, how do you feel about my job? Like, I don't think I've ever like picked her brain about it, but she appreciates what I do, and she knows that it's something that she feels like she would never be able to do because of how hard it is, and because of how out there you have to be and really be in touch, with like what kids need, and like being able to read them, right? What's wrong with them, and like how to deal with them and how to talk to them, because it's different than talking to an adult, right? And you also don't want to cross any lines that maybe you also want to. You don't want to show them that like we're friends, because we're not friends. You still have to be able to maintain that like where do I reach your heart, but then at the same time still keep my professionalism, where you still respect me as a teacher, but I can still kind of just help you be molded and kind of catch up to where you're supposed to be.
If she does feel that way, I think she underestimates herself. I feel like, I don't know, I could be wrong, but I feel like women in general, they have these and maybe not all women, right? But I think Lily's like this, and Johnson might be like this. They have these maternal instincts, and so even though it's new, maybe it's just not knowing, right? Like they've never done it before. But I think she would do well. She seems to really love. She's literally holding my son right now. Every time they come over, she's holding my son, and that gives Lily a break, and we really appreciate that too. But she, So I think she has this like love for children. And I think that would play a good part if she ever did do that. But anyway, I just wanted to say that.
Yeah. But to me, I think it more just started because I would do summer camps and all that, and I could just be a clown all the time and like,
I believe you.
Yeah, so I was just getting paid to go on field trips, like be able to like play soccer and like tackle them around and like do activities.
Oh, you just want to
like,
beat kids up.
Just
kick them on accident.
Yeah, just jump in the pool with them. They're like climbing on your back and like stuff like that. You're fighting with them.
Put them under the water.
Yeah, exactly. For a few seconds and then just scare them. I promise I wasn't doing that.
Yo, please don't reprimand him in the future. He's kidding, guys.
But so that's kind of a little cool. I think that gets me going.
I have a question for you. See this right here? Do you see this book?
What does it say? The 5 love languages.
Yeah, since we tend to talk about our wives and marriage and stuff, and romance and love and all of that, this book I read. I think it's great. Although it says for men, but you can take different people can take different things from it. Do you know, and have you ever heard of this? And do you know what your love languages are?
I have heard of it. I don't know what all of them are. Like I know they all have some kind of title or name or whatever. Oh, okay, the only one that I know that I feel like I relate to the most, even though I haven't heard the rest, is acts of service. Is that one of them?
Well, let me just tell you all 5.
Okay.
This is what people say love languages are. The 5 common ones are words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch.
Okay. I still think it's acts of service.
That's yours.
That's mine. But that's providing, right? Providing acts of service?
No, it's what you need. What do you need?
So somebody's giving me acts of service based on what I need, like
your wife would have to understand your love language, and your love language is what you feel you need to feel good or happy, or like for example for me.
But she would have to do something for me to make sure that I'm happy. That's an act of service. It's more like, it's not like come give me a kiss. It's more like do something for me that maybe I would appreciate. That's kind of how I see that she's showing me love, or what I appreciate.
Like if she makes you a meal and puts it on the table,
right? Like my favorite meal.
You're like, oh yes,
yeah, that's definitely it.
Yeah, macho man. I'm just playing. No.
What's yours?
I have 2. I have 2. Mine is words of affirmation. I think it's my mom's fault growing up. She would say I love you like 1,000 times a day, and so I really appreciate words of people saying good job, or I love you, or anything that has to do with words. And physical touch. I'm a simp. I'm emo. So a hug, a kiss on the cheek from my wife and things like that. So words of affirmation and physical touch are my go-tos. I like them all. I think we can appreciate all of them.
Yeah.
But like if I don't have those 2, I might be like, oh, something's wrong.
Right.
What's wrong?
Okay. Yeah, I think it's pretty similar. I think
By the way, my wife's are not those two.
She what?
My wife's is not.
Oh, yeah.
Her love languages are not those two. Hers are quality time and acts of service.
You know what? I think those are my wife's as well.
I bet they're the same. Now.
Yeah. Because with me, I'm like I just. Like if she just did something nice for me without, you know, like I'd be like, oh, that was so thoughtful of her. And to me, that kind of refreshes me rather than just like just telling me something. I'm about to just be like, there's no need for you to tell me. Like, as long as we just, you know, we're connected and we're here and we're with the things we do and we're kind of when you coexist, right? Because when you're married, you have to like coexist or whatever. Once you start like seeing what we each other like and we start adjusting and living our life accordingly, where it's all falling like a puzzle, and we're like, oh, this is nice. That's kind of, but that's all based on active service, like most of the time, you know. It's like you have to do things for each other that maybe you just you shouldn't even have to ask for at some point, right? You just get to know each other and you do it for that. But with certain things, I do like words of affirmation as well. Like, I'm not big on like like with my wife. Yes, obviously, like I'm big on I love yous and stuff like that. Yeah. We can't leave the house without saying I love you to each other. You know, a couple pecks and I love you. Like that's our thing. You know, and when we come back, same thing. But with my family, I'm never like that. Like I think it's very like.
I know. I think I said I love you one time, and you were like, "Thanks."
I was like, okay, yeah. But I'm not like mushy like that. Like it's been like with people, like, you know, it's hard for me to show a lot of my emotions or like that emotional side of me because. A lot of times
your upbringing, right? Like your family's not really like that, right?
Yeah,
like your mom's
I don't know
like,
what, I don't know what it is because my mom didn't also not do that. Like I feel like she was just waiting for us to kind of do it, and I don't know. To me, it was just always like, nah, like we're good. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't remember the last time, and not for any bad reason, and not because I don't love my mom or whatever. I don't remember the last time I fully hugged my mom and told her I love her, and I know I should. I should. Of course. But I feel like
that doesn't mean that she doesn't feel
exactly. Like I'll do things for her that, you know, kind of will show that. But I think in a sense, it's kind of like we kind of get it. Like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of times I'm always like checking on her and stuff like that. But maybe something without her knowing, and she might feel like, you know, like, oh, why hasn't he spoken to me? Or maybe she does, right? And that's my fault because I still got to better myself. I there's a lot of things that I got to work on, but. I feel like
maybe your love languages are the same.
Yeah, it's this unspoken thing where it's kind of because she's not like that. She's not big.
Maybe she needs acts of service, and so you fulfill that.
That's what it is. I think that's what it is. You know, because my mom does appreciate more acts of service rather than just me telling her something.
I wasn't gonna get into it, but I'm gonna get into it.
Yeah.
The reason why I am the way I am, I think a great deal, and people change, but a great deal is because my mom was, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Sit on my lap, let me give you a hug. Very, very affectionate. And that's been instilled in me, and so now that's who I am. That's why I tell Lily, come here, baby, boom, hug, and I remember in the beginning, you know, because when we were getting to know each other and we had got married, she was like very different because of her upbringing. Again, her love languages are different, right? So I'd be like, give me a hug, and she'd be like, and I'm like, girl, give me a hug, and she'd be like, why you want so many hugs? And then, you know, but in marriage, what happens is you guys mold to each other, and so I had to change things that I would do and she would too, and then we just started to mesh. You know how it goes. But yeah, so I think our childhoods have a lot to do with it, and I like that we're talking about it because I think there's a lot of people out there, young ones, even adults, who've never really thought about it or never analyzed maybe that the way they are is because of that. And maybe they wanted to be maybe different, or maybe they wish they would have gotten more I love yous and they struggle with it, or they did the opposite. I didn't get that, I'm gonna do extra, you know? So
and then there's that middle ground where it's like me, like I don't have any side to stand on, like necessarily, like I'm not one that's like that dwells on that a lot, like if that makes sense. Like I'm just kind of like, well, it wasn't like that, but it doesn't affect me either. Like I'm very like sense. I think I'm very simple minded. I'm very
just a cold blooded.
I'm just kidding. I don't want to say it that way, but I think it is.
Yeah. Goes without saying.
Yeah.
No.
But you know, to each their own.
But also, if that's not something you've ever felt like you needed, then why would you even need to think?
Yeah, and that's great. I mean, I see it as a pro, you know, because I don't want to have to suffer through those pains of like, oh, why didn't I have a
Here, man, let me just hold your hand for a second. There you go, bro. I got you, man.
Thanks,
hey, man, you're doing a great job, man. Honestly, man, I love you, man. Thank you for doing it.
Stop saying I love you. It's weird.
You're like, I'm leaving.
Yeah. Nah, too much love, too much mush. Nah, man, but yeah, so it's kind of cool. Yeah. But anyway.
One thing I wanted to say, sorry to interrupt you, is talking about the OCD for all of you viewers. If you guys have OCD things, like little tics and little things, it would be really cool. Just leave them in the comments. Like we want to know like what other people go through, what they feel, what they like. I used to have to like rub the corners of tables, like till I get a feeling.
I think I still do.
I don't really do that anymore, but I used to.
I think I still do. I do that, but I think I used to work with stone like countertops, like granite and marble and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I can tell a good polish on a corner of like a stone countertop.
I hate you.
So
this isn't polished.
Yeah. Like you could tell like when it's grainy, like when it's just been sanded, it has like little lines on it, like where it feels like okay, they didn't fully polish. They just kind of did like a half job, so they kind of be like this will pass. Yeah. But I'm always like if I see a stone countertop, I'm like oh this is nice, and I'll rub the corner to see if it was nicely polished on the corners, if it was rounded off nicely, or if it just feels like that little sharp where you know they didn't fully sand it all the way, like they just did like a little quick pass. So I'm always like I'll always do that. But I'm now that you brought it up, I'm like oh yeah, that's true, I do that. But I'm curious to see if there's any of you out there that kind of can relate to me and those. If you guys have some of those tendencies that I have for OCD, like that,
or the tics cool. that I have, we
can kind of relate, and we can talk about it.
And love languages too. What's your love language?
Yeah.
What do you need out of those 5?
But getting into that other topic now that I'm not even gonna do a segue. We were just talking about it the other day. How, we were walking around and we said, I think I had seen like a sign or something, and I was like, oh, no trespassing. I was like, oh, I have a good trespassing story. And
alrighty,
you were
let's
like,
get into it.
I got a trespassing story too, and I was like, that's wild. And I was like, okay, well, maybe you can share yours, and you can tell me, and then I'll give you a quick one.
Before we share these stories, how much do they pay you to babysit your Red Bull?
Oh my god,
it's just sitting there.
Your thing better be more empty than me.
I'm almost done.
Yeah, right. You just take a full chug right now.
I'm not gonna say it. Enough.
I go ahead.
Nah, okay, want me to do it? Okay. My trespassing story. Embarrassing. So back in the day, when I was a young lad.
Ooh.
Are the Red Bulls good?
No, I mean like that was so long ago.
Jerk. Yeah, when I was a young lad, and I didn't have good friends. These individuals, they will remain nameless. Honestly, probably forgot their name. No, I didn't. I remember now. They wanted to go to these abandoned buildings, and we went at nighttime, and it was in Sylmar, and it was just way too scary. And so we were like, nah, let's just come back tomorrow during the day, because there's like this long road. Off like Foothill Boulevard, there's this long road that leads you to the abandoned building, which is probably like a quarter mile into like the mountains. So we're like, no. Coyotes, mountain lions, whatever. Right?
Which are having to walk or drive up?
So you drive up to the entrance, but you have to get off the car and walk that quarter mile on this land. And so we went back the next day during the day, walked all the way up to this abandoned building. It was fenced all around. It obviously said no trespassing. And part of the gate was like broken. So we're like, it's in the middle of nowhere. No one's really going to care. That's just horrible thinking, by the way. Don't trespass because the ticket is not cool. And I got a ticket. I'm going to get there. So we jump the fence. We go into this building, and there's like, I think it had burned down. So there's a lot of things all over the place, these filing cabinets. And I saw like these little, like the slides, like the microscope slides. Like a drawer on the floor full of slides that had some kind of something
Samples
on it, some kind of sample of something. And so I picked it up and I'm looking at it.
Oh no!
Dumb decision. I throw it down, whatever, and I hear, "Come out with your hands up."
Ooh.
I didn't even hear the. Right. I just heard that. We said, "Oh no! What do they think we're doing?" So we walk.
They're probably staking out the place.
Man, they
didn't
probably
even notice.
Exactly, man. They watched us walk in there and said, "We're gonna wait so we can get them." Yeah. And so anyway, so we go outside and the police talk to us, and they're like, it's trespassing, right? And we're like, yeah, sorry, we didn't think anyone would really care. We're just hiking or whatever. And the ticket was huge. I had to go to juvenile hall to pay the ticket and all that. I didn't go to prison or jail, but yeah, so it turns out when I did further research after that it was an old tuberculosis clinic that burnt down and remained that way. So the little slides that I was holding was probably like old TB blood and stuff.
TB.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God. I don't have the disease, but things could have been real.
Right.
I shouldn't have did that. Yeah. So that's my story, man.
They just left that stuff there, huh? That's even
worse.
Even weirder. Yeah. Was it like recently abandoned, or they've just been there over time?
No, I don't know. I think it was there for a while. I think it was there for a while. I mean, I don't know why didn't they clean up, but come on, guys! Didn't they know that dumb kids were gonna want to go in there and get TB? No, just
that's crazy.
Yeah, man. So that's my story. What happened with you though?
So we were it was a group of friends, and Jocelyn was also there. We were kind of like, I think we were dating already at the time, and we had like maybe 4 or 5 friends that we were all there together. We had gone at nighttime. We went up the mountain to the observatory, but it was near there. There was like a certain side where you can go up the mountain. You can park on the mountainside, and there's a gate that opens, and you can go. And they have like the little telescopes that are hanging on the stands or whatever. You can see the city and like the entire valley or whatever. So that was also on the side of crossing the street on the side of the mountain, but it has a same thing. It has a huge gate, but it's only open certain hours. So we were driving by and we're like, well, let's see if it's still open. But when we drove by, we saw people on the other side of the gate. And we were like on the other side of that fence. And we were like, oh, it must still be open. So we parked behind like a line of cars. There was like 4 or 5 cars. So we're like, oh, well, let's park behind them. Everybody's there, whatever. So we parked behind them. And then we all get off and we're all chilling, hanging out, looking at the city or whatever. And then actually, no, before we walked in, we noticed that the gate was closed, and we're like, how did these people get in? And we're looking around, and similar to what you said, there was a break in the fence near the edge where the fence only went to like a tree line. So it wasn't even like there was something cemented where that gate was. The gate looked like it was holding on to the tree or something. And they had just kind of just pushed it off. So it was like a curve in it. And people were just kind of like squeezing in, and we're like, I mean, we're already here. Like there's other cars here. It must not be wrong, to do this. So we're like, let's just go do it. And so we crawled through and we're like hanging out or whatever. But then we hear the cops like whoop 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 whoop, and they're like, all right, everybody come out. And then we see flashlights just shining all of us, and we're like, oh. So, snap. So there's this like big rock mountain, and we're like around the corner. So the cop can only see a few of us. So my now wife, we were the oldest ones in the group. The other ones were like younger, like 16, 17 at the time. She's like 18 and I'm like 20 at the time. And so, or 21, I don't know how, I'm like a couple years older than her. And so I'm like, well, we can't be caught with like underage kids here with like, like, I don't know if they're going to be like, well, where are your legal guardians or whatever. We're thinking all this through. So we're like, the cop wasn't coming in. Like, they were just telling us to get out towards them. So because they were around the corner of the mountain, we told them, hey, go, just stay over there. Just stay behind the mountain. If
they don't know how many people are in there.
Yeah, they haven't seen you. Just stay over there and we'll come out. And so we're like, let's just go out. So my wife was my girlfriend at the time. We're walking out and we're like, oh, dang, we got caught. Along with these like 4, 5, 6 other people that are there with their other cars. And we're like, oh, man. So we walk out and sure enough, they're like, oh, well, this is trespassing, right? And he points and sure enough, there's a big no trespassing sign right there that we just bypassed or whatever. And so he gave us like a trespassing ticket, which was also pretty big. Yeah. But then on top of that, the cop, he had a buddy with the squad car. He pulls up in front of all the cars and he says, everybody that's parked behind me, nobody's leaving until I give you your parking ticket. And we're like, what in the world? And so he's like, look at that. And it was like a sign that said no parking, but it was like tipped over into the bushes. And I was like, how is that even a thing?
No, you
if
can
it's
fight
like
that.
Yeah, so but we were like young at the time. We're like, whatever. Like he's probably gonna find other stuff out. So we ended up being like, all right. So me and her are now waiting in this car, and we're like, oh my God, I hope they don't find him. Like, oh my goodness, like what's gonna happen with them? Like we're gonna figure it out. So we're like, okay, let's just wait for the parking ticket and then we'll figure out a way to scoop him up. So sure enough, he's writing our ticket bar. He's like, you're not leaving until I give you a ticket. He gives us our ticket. And as soon as he gives us our ticket, he's like, all right, you got to get going. Don't stick around here. So we're like, oh my goodness. Like now we got to wait. Like what are we going to do? So we just said, forget it. Let's just go up. And then there was like a little, I guess where you could pull over. Something's wrong with your vehicle, whatever, up the mountain. Oh, okay. So we pulled over there and we just kind of stood there and we waited for the cop to just drive by. So after he was done with all the tickets, they finally drove by and we quickly like busted a Yui, came back and we called and we're like, everybody run now and get in the car. And so everybody, you just see all the little kids just like booking it and they're like crawling out of the gate and they all just jumped in the car, no seatbelts on it. They just all like crowded in the car. I don't know how we got there in the first place, but I just remember there was like 4 people crowded in the back and like, and we just like booked it out of there. But it was like, wow. It was not a pretty sight because it was my wife's car that we had taken there. So I was trying to be a gentleman and I was like, I'll take over the parking ticket. And yeah, so we ended up paying like a hefty.
But it was like, I'm trying to be a gentleman, but let's get a trespassing.
Right.
Man, it's crazy how when we're younger, we just make like these weird decisions.
Yeah, huh? Well, you don't even think twice about it because you're like, it's never gonna happen to me. And who does it happen to? Exactly.
Seriously, that's a real thing though. Like things always happen, and you'll tell yourself it'll never happen. Oh, it happened to you? Oh, it'll never happen. And then it happens. You're like, this really happens. Yeah. Yeah, man. Oh, I got a story. Dang. It just popped up.
Is it trespassing as well?
No, it's worse. Again, bad associations. Kids, be careful with bad associations.
Right.
Long time ago, I was probably like 20 years old, going through my high school phase and just misguided. And I'm hanging out with a friend of mine at that time, right? And we go to a party. And I don't think I've ever told you the story. We go to a party. And it's in Sylmar again. Yo, things be happening in Sylmar, bro.
You should have already known.
I know, man. So we go to a party. It's probably like 11 o'clock at night. And I think we're there for like an hour and a half, or maybe we got there at like midnight. I don't remember. But we went with my acquaintance's neighbors. He was like, yo, let's go. But we won't drive. We'll go with the homies across the street, right? And I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So we go. The party was whack, blah, blah, blah. Let's get out of here. It's like 1 a.m. at this point. So we hop in the truck. No, see, I'm trying to remember the story. No, this is what happened. We leave the party, and my friend is like, yo, my neighbors just told me that they're going to go do something else, but that their friends are going to give us a ride home.
Oh, no.
So I'm like,
you should have already seen the red flags at that point.
Man, I'll get ignorant, not thinking, no guidance, right?
Yeah, I'm like, as long as I get home, who cares who it's with?
We're getting home, cool, right? I don't care. So he's like, their friends are going to take us. All right, so we hop in this truck, and it was probably like a Toyota Tacoma where it's just 2 large seats, front seat, driver's seat, passenger seat, and then in the back, it's like you could fit like 4 small people and like 3 medium-sized people.
Right.
A small cab, I guess. And that's where the window is just like a little square, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting along the window. Let me sit up for this. I'm sitting along the window. My friend's in the middle, and one of the guys is on the other side. And we're going towards Foothill, and it's pitch black. There's not a lot of cars, and there's just a car waiting to turn. But no cars are coming on Foothill. Right. So he was just like blocking. He
should have turned.
He should have already turned.
Right.
So the driver gets upset. When alcohol is involved and stuff, they get all weird.
The driver of your car.
Of the truck that we're in. The guy that we don't know.
Right.
They go, what is he doing? And they go, and they go around and like cut him off to the point where it looks like they almost clipped the front of his car just to like send a message. And then we go on Foothill and they keep driving. I'm like, well, that was crazy. All right, whatever. So we're going down Foothill and we stop at McLean Foothill at the light. Again, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., no one is around. That car pulls up next to us and it's this cholo.
Yikes.
Bald, tatted, by himself, yelling things at the truck. And I'm just in the back like, I've never seen stuff like this. Like, what is going on? And he starts throwing up wherever he's from. And the guys in the truck, the 2 front guys, they look in the back and they go, sorry, guys, we never gangbang unless we get banged on. And then they start saying stuff.
Oh, no.
I said, what is going to happen?
Caught in the middle here.
Man, bad associations. It gets worse. These dudes decide to do the same thing. They make a right and they cut him off and almost hit his car and go down McClay. We're going down McClay. And something, I just felt weird. Someone told me to turn, and I just turned my head, like to look behind me outside the window, and the car pulls up next to us. And all I see is the cholo's arm go out like this. Ooh. Boom! 1 gunshot, and shot into my window. And I closed my eyes. It happened so quickly. He shot just one time, and the guys go, oh, and they pull over. And is everyone all right? Did someone get hit? And I looked. And I had glass on my arm, and a little bullet hole was like 5 inches from my arm, right? Just right there, so close.
Jeez.
Turns out the bullet went through the window, because you know how cholos drive, like the seat's like all the way back. Yeah. It went through the driver's seat into the passenger seat. It didn't hit anyone.
Wow.
But I looked at that hole, and I was like, whoa.
That's insane.
The funny part is that I never really registered, and I still had bad associations because I was a dummy. But I could have lost my life there. What if you would have shot 5 times?
Right, and nothing that you did, like it was out of your hands. Like it wasn't even like you could have stopped these guys.
Being with the wrong people.
Yeah, you're just at their mercy, right? You're just you're just up to whatever they decide.
I should have listened to my grandfather. He said nothing good happens after 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
I think he was right.
Yeah, man, that's insane.
Yeah, bro, crazy. Have you ever had like a life, what is it called?
Life-threatening situation?
Yeah, or like a
life or death, like a
life or death situation.
What do you call it?
There's like a come on, guys, what is it called?
A near-death experience.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. No.
Hey, you know what? That's a good thing.
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
The closest I ever got to, maybe there's a couple situations, but mostly just one time where we went to visit my wife's family in Mexico, and she's from Michoacan, and it's scary out there, man. It's scary out there, and so we had a situation where like over there, it's full like narcotraficante kind of place out there. Like bodies will go missing and they'll just randomly show up in the centro, like hung up by like in the center of like the markets. They're just hung up there, or they're on a ditch, like in a ditch, like it just like bodies go missing. But it's usually between them, the troublemakers and all that. Staying there, I mean, we just have to kind of, just always be observing, alert, and just make sure we stick with the family because the family knows what's going on there and all that. So
not the wild family, the good family.
The good family. Yeah, never the ones that had any associations like that. Yeah. And so one night, I remember we're sleeping, and I'm a heavy sleeper, and my wife is not. But for some reason, that morning, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, I just hear, and I'm like, oh my!
And it wasn't a song, right?
No, it wasn't the mariachi that I was singing.
It wasn't a drum. Okay.
No, and it was a full full blown like shooting. And I'm like, oh my goodness, something's going down. And so I kind of like woke my wife up. I was like, how did it wake me up and not her? So I'm like waking her up, and then she just hears like the trail end of it, but it went on for maybe like a full 15 seconds, just, and we're like, oh my goodness, like something's about to happen. And so I waited, and it just died out, and we're like, okay, we're still here, we're fine, like like that's already a blessing in and of its own. So we're like, okay, it's fine, whatever, like we just okay, we're fine, whatever. We went out, we talked to family, like it's fine, it didn't happen here. It was like, I think it was like on the opposite side of the street, but like a block over, so it was like behind us on the next street over.
So it felt loud enough, close enough, but not
exactly. But it felt, it was like me thinking, right, you're now all these factors start playing in your head, like I'm in another country, I don't have anything here, I don't have medical care here, I don't know what's gonna happen, like all these things are flying. My family's here, like you don't know what it is. And so but then we woke up that next morning, we're like, what was that? Like we're talking to the family, having breakfast, and they're like, like I guess the narcotraficantes were like looking for people that some bad people that kind of had problems with, and they went looking for them to their house, and they shot up the whole house. They said there was nobody in the house, thankfully, but they were looking for them. They knew they lived there, so they shot it up and they lit the house on fire.
That's terrible.
So they pretty much just got the whole house just caught fire. They shot it up, and they didn't end up finding anybody. Nobody got hurt, but scary to know that once they're involved in all that.
You were pretty close.
But that wasn't, that's not like near death for me, but it's scary enough to think that that's a possibility in a place.
I mean, the fact that you're that close, you're a block away from something like that. I mean, people get hit with strays, bullets, and things like that, and we never want to be anywhere near stuff like that.
And I watch a lot of like crime and mystery shows and stuff like that. So to me, all those scenes start replaying in my mind, and I'm like, oh, something's about to happen to me.
Yeah, you were watching Breaking Bad. You were like, what trunk am I gonna hide in? You know what I'm saying? Where am I gonna go?
So but that's only an interesting thing. But to me, I don't think I had associations that bad to that extent where I had to be. Yeah, I was more just like the child kind of things that you do, but it wasn't nothing crazy where I was putting my life in danger like that. I don't think I ever went through.
No, you've always been smart. Sounds like. But association gotta be, man, that's crazy, bro. People are crazy, and then
that's the worst kind of poison, man.
People you think
right?
You don't really know.
The people you think you could trust the most are sometimes the ones that end up being the worst in situations like that.
And we'll get into those things in the other episodes. I got stories.
Other episodes, but
Well, thanks for sharing that, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Glad you
but
didn't get
before
hit.
we continue on with another topic, I had left a couple things out with the OCD. See, this is my OCD, my ADHD or something.
Let's go back, bro.
But let me just touch on something real quick.
What are you going
to
say?
You did something yesterday or like a couple days ago.
A while back, yeah.
I came over to hang out. We're talking about the pod and like doing all this conversation.
You're like, throw me under the bus, Billy. But Let's do it. Let me drink my Monster.
It was bugging the heck out of me, and I was kind of like, man, I can't. It was bugging me so much that I couldn't, I couldn't let it go. And I was kind of like, why would you do? So you were cooking up yourself something in the kitchen, and I'm still not letting go. That's why I had to bring it up.
Bring it up, man.
You were cooking something in the kitchen, and then you sat down and you had made yourself like chicken tacos or something like that. And you made yourself chicken tacos, and you busted out like a jar of salsa from your fridge.
Oh, man. No one's going to want to come over to my house after that, man.
You brought out a jar of salsa, and you opened it up. you just straight out, no spoon, nothing. First of all, that's already weird. And you open the jar or whatever, and you started pouring it out on your tacos, and I was like, cool. That was even passable. I could have been like, all right, cool. Maybe he's just weird like that. I would have used a spoon or something, just kind of like. Or
it was almost done, like it was just a leftover.
Yeah, but no, but you still put it back because you didn't finish all of it. You put some out, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever. Like that's weird, but whatever. I let it pass. And you lifted the jar up, and you went. And you close that jar up after licking the jar.
No one else eats the salsa but me, man.
Nah, but you got a family at home.
And literally don't eat that.
But even then, like, to me, it wasn't even like, ew, there's other people that's going to touch that jar. To me, it's like, when you use salsa or things like that have a jar opening like that, it's going to leave crusties or dry salsa there.
That's why you lick it. so that it doesn't contaminate.
And then in that same moment, you were... your dog was there like bugging you for food, so you're like for the tacos. She was begging you for a bite of the tacos or something. Yeah,
she was.
So you in that same instant, like I was ready to walk out of your house because in that same instant you grabbed a jar of peanut butter from your fridge or from that pantry next to it. You opened it up first, so you unscrewed it like a normal human being, and you went into your utensil drawer, and of all things you grabbed a fork to scoop out the peanut butter to give her some peanut butter. A fork.
Look, man. I could have wasted minutes looking for a spoon, but the first thing I saw was a fork. But so I'm like, it's for the dog, you know?
But even a knife or a spoon or something, and
a knife would have been better.
Not to directly give it to her, but you were putting it on something like a licking mat or something, weren't you? Or I don't know what you were doing, but honestly, a fork to scoop stuff out, like that's cardinal sin number 1.
Look, I don't eat my pizza backwards, okay?
And then. Okay, well,
I'm not that guy. It was just a moment. I was like, it's just a dog. You know what I'm saying? Let me just give it. Okay.
But it doesn't end there.
Oh my God.
You did that with the fork.
It's called OCD, guys.
So, but that peanut butter. So you unscrewed it open. I don't know if it makes that noise. I'm gonna do ASMR. And then you went.
Hey, yo. At first, I was like, no. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
And then, in that moment, instead of screwing it back on, you put it on top of you went, and you just like popped it in.
Yeah, I did. I didn't twist the top. I just popped
You didn't screw it back on.
But I popped it, and then I tightened it.
Yeah, but you didn't follow the what is it called?
Hey man, I'm wild, man. I don't follow all the rules.
That's just crazy.
I do that because a friend told me that brute force always works. So I could waste seconds going. Yeah, that's horrible. I said, nah, but let it go.
Yeah, but then you ruin the seal on this thing because now it's loosening because now it's spreading. It's like it's spreading and it's clicking. It's spreading and it's clicking because you're just pushing it down instead of having it follow its course that it's supposed to create that seal. Now you're just going click. And it was just kind of like, well, now you just mess with that peanut butter jar. Now that peanut butter jar is not going to last you as long. Now, because it doesn't last you as long, you won't be able to make as many sandwiches. If you don't make as many sandwiches, you won't be hungrier. And if you're hungrier, then you get, your mood changes. Then your mood changes. Nobody in your home is happy.
Well, you know what really bothers me?
All because you couldn't close a peanut butter jar.
Well, you know what my OCD part of me bothers me is when other people with OCD start to point out all the things that I don't do that fulfills their OCD. That bothers my OCD.
But that's not even OCD. That's like the normal, like, that's life, man. You're not even accustomed to the normal tendencies of a human being.
You know what? Let's ask the viewers. Viewers in the comments, please let us know who's in the right, who's in the wrong, or not even that. Which one of you guys just smash the, we just put the top down. You don't twist it, or do you lick?
If you have a jar of salsa, do you just lick the edge of the salsa jar and close it and put it back in your fridge?
Or am I the only savage out here?
That's not even being savage. That's just being disgusting, bro. Because I don't know who does that, but
you know what? You're probably the guy that gets upset when the toothpaste cap isn't on.
Hey, chill.
You're probably the guy that gets upset when the toilet paper, when the side that you pull is facing back, then facing forward.
I am. I have to fix that every time. My wife does the opposite, and I feel like nowadays she does that just to piss me off.
Just to make you mad?
That's like one of the passive aggressive things that she might do. Every time she's the one to like put a new toilet paper roll in there, it's always facing backwards. And I'm like, she's doing this. And I've never mentioned it, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, it always happens. And then I ask her, I'm like, what preference do you have? She's all like, I don't just put it however. I'm like, how is it that every single time you put it, it's facing backwards? And so I always like change it and put it back.
You know what? I can't wait to have Jocelyn on this pod so that she could tell me all the things you get upset about. Oh my God, your shoelaces aren't tied in bunny ears.
If you go to a public restroom and you see a toilet paper just sitting there, not on the roll thing, you'd still use it?
Say that again.
If you go to public bathroom and the toilet paper roll is just sitting on top, it's not on the little handle thing. Yeah. You'd grab it and use it?
What am I gonna wipe with, bro? I gotta use it.
It's not clicking in your brain. The cardboard inside has been touched by random hands, and who knows where their hands have been?
No, man, because come on, how many people really think about those things? When you go on an escalator, do you touch the thing that people hold on to for security?
I have the time.
I never touch it because it never gets clean. You know how many hands touch that? So check yourself before you wreck yourself. Ooh.
Yeah, I guess, but there's less chance that all those people were in the same restroom stall as you.
We held hands for a second right now. Let me go ahead and just wipe. I need some hand sanitizer now.
That's what I need because you can touch paper rolls like nothing, just handling them. Like
so you have OCD. I think we finally learned that about you. It's a bit extreme. I would suggest you speak to a therapist. I know a really good one.
I should.
I need to also.
It's not things that bug me though.
I don't like people with OCD. Not just like I have OCD.
I'll live with it. I don't think it's something that I need to fix.
Hey man, you really tried to beat me up verbally, man. That's crazy, man. I hope the audience enjoyed that. When this pod's off, I'm gonna beat you up for real. Yeah, no, just like, nah, man, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
You want to do the segment?
Oh yeah, that's right. Let's get into it, man. So
warm and fuzzy
time.
For those that didn't watch episode 1,
yeah.
Warm and fuzzy is essentially we have to share a story or something that happened to us within the week that made us feel warm and fuzzy. Now, we don't have, the backstory is that Billy works for a school and the teachers use this as a way to share what something that's happened that was encouraging and things like that. So we did it last week. This week, if we're going to share our warm and fuzzies, I'll go first. I blanked on the second one. I had 2. Hopefully it comes back up. I know.
So you wouldn't forget them. But if they were really warm and fuzzy, you would remember. So go ahead.
Oh, okay. Let's come back. Let me sit up for this. This is Mikey Red's warm and fuzzy. No, it's like so the first warm and fuzzy. Well, they both happened today. Actually, it's been kind of a tough week, so I can't really think of one that's happened throughout the week. But the first one happened earlier this morning. You know, we released our episode 1 today. It's Friday, the 2nd, right? And so we had a lot of friends show support and things like that. But there was one message in particular that honestly made me feel warm and fuzzy. And it's we have a group chat. Mm-hmm. Me, Billy, Jocelyn, and Lily. All 4 of us, and your wife shared a message today that I really touched me because, you know, we know our wives have been really, really supportive, but she didn't only just say, hey, you guys did a good job. Right. She pointed out things that she really enjoyed, and she said, you know, these words of encouragement, like, oh, you guys will make it. It's just a matter of time kind of thing. And I was like, you know what? That was really nice. That was really sweet because I know that she meant it. Right. And, you know, we're doing this for fun and stuff, but we hope that something pops off. And so for the wives and Jocelyn in particular to express that support made me feel really nice. And I was like, man, it helped me. We're going to keep going. That's what I thought. We're going to keep going.
Yeah, I'm going to be on that. I'm going to take that warm and fuzzy from your side. I'll be mine too. Well, I'm not gonna explain it anymore.
You better think of another one.
Yeah, that's one of them for mine too. Yeah, that was a pretty cool moment. I didn't even think my wife was just gonna. I thought it was gonna be the same thing where it was just kind of like, oh yeah, good job guys, it was good. Like no, it was cool. Yeah. But she, like you said, she was like 10 out of 10 podcasts. You know, she might be a little biased because it's us.
A little bit, you know what I'm saying? But I believe it.
Yeah, but she was like, you know what, you guys made me laugh a couple times. You like, you know, a few times, and it was kind of like you guys did this. You maintained consistent. It was natural. It was flowing. Like, and she said, you guys are gonna make it. I don't know when, but it's gonna happen. So that was kind of cool. It made me feel warm.
And I think not only because we're close that it really hit home, but also in general, I think when people give words of encouragement and they're honest, even if some things they don't agree with, you know, the fact that they're willing to give their input, to take the time to do so, I really appreciate that. So hopefully our viewers can comment and stuff and give us your thoughts too. We would really appreciate that, and we think it would be really helpful. But the second one happened literally as we were prepping the setup here with the cameras and the audio and everything. we were struggling with something in our headphones and stuff, and we were trying to figure it out. And I was already getting kind of like stressed out. I was like, man, we're never gonna fix it.
Yeah.
And I get a phone call. I get a phone call from a friend who I haven't spoken to in a while. You know, my friend's going through a tough time. He's been diagnosed with cancer, and he's going. Damn, I might get emotional. He's going through chemotherapy, and you know, for people who have gone through that, I haven't, but from what we hear, you know, it's a really tough thing to go through.
Oh yeah.
It's really strenuous on the mind, on the body. It weakens you, makes you tired, don't want to eat, and I have a really huge appreciation for this person, along with a lot of my friends. He's just that one person that like you can always rely on, the one that there's just this wholesomeness to his personality where you almost can never feel like he would do anything wrong. You know, he's always so selfless. I really try and emulate him or be more like him, right? And the fact that he's going through such a tough time, he doesn't, you know, sometimes he's not up for talking. And that's completely understandable. So the fact that he called me and took the time, that in itself touched me. I'm like, whoa. And I told you, I said, yo, he's calling. You know, we don't need to share names. But I was like, he's calling. I got to answer. I got to. And he just called to give me some words of encouragement on some things that...
That's crazy. Has somebody that's going through something like that to call you and give you words of encouragement.
You see what I'm saying?
Like the kind of person that it takes to do that. It was awesome.
It's just a perfect example of how you could have cancer and be feeling terrible and still call somebody else to make someone else feel good.
Right.
And yeah, that makes me emotional to think about just how great he is. And I appreciated that he gave me some words of encouragement and things like that. And that things that he does, like I never forget because I always try and pay it forward. You know? And I think that's what makes him so special. But anyway, that touched my heart. So that's a warm and fuzzy warm.
That's cool, man. Good for you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome to have important people like that in your life. And you got to value those, you know, because those don't come around often, you know, so you got to keep them around as long as you can.
Yeah.
My warm and fuzzy for the week gave me a little insight as to the job that I'm doing as a profession, because I feel like sometimes it is mentally fatiguing because I work in a program that's very repetitive. I'm seeing maybe 4 different groups a day of different kids, and I'm just teaching the same lessons to those 4 groups every single day of every single week. So I'm teaching 9 lessons a day, sometimes the same lesson 10 times a day, and so it's mentally fatiguing. You know, it's kind of it drains me a lot of times. But this past weekend, I went to the grocery store just shopping for the week with my wife, and I see one of my students at the store, and his face kind of like kids, they're usually more shy when they're not in a classroom setting. When they're in a classroom setting, they can talk and they know that you're there as a teacher or whatever. They're more cool. But when you see them outside, they're kind of like, it's like a shocker for them. It's very surreal to see, even for me, like to see one of my kids in the store, especially wasn't even close by like my job. So I saw him and he was just very like shy. He's like, I was like, hey buddy, like good to see you here. Like, what are you doing? So he's like, oh, I'm looking for my family. I was like, oh, cool. It's good to see you. Like, I'll see you on Monday. And he was just very like, okay. And he just like walked away. He was very shy about it. Yeah. But then I'm checking out my groceries. I'm doing self-checkout. And because they give bigger discounts for the self-checkout. I'm just playing. I don't do that. I pay full price for everything.
Yeah, you get 5-finger discount.
So... And I see him in my peripheral. He just keeps passing by, kind of like staring at me, kind of like wanting me to notice him again. And I was like, oh, this kid, like he wants my attention. He's trying to like, he looks over because he's not with his family. He's just passing by. He'll stop. And then at one point he passed by again and he's carrying a puppy. And I guess his family had brought a puppy into the supermarket wherever they were. Yeah. And it's a baby golden, like Australian something mixed with like a golden doodle type thing. It was like a beautiful golden puppy with like bright blue eyes. It was like a weird, but it was beautiful.
Yeah.
And he's just standing there kind of like, trying to like be pretend to be slick, but he wants me to notice him and his puppy. I mean, he knows I love dogs, man. So I was like, let me pet him. And so I left him. I was like,
he was like, yes.
Yeah. He's like, oh yeah. And he comes over and he's like giggling and whatnot. He's just living in the moment. And I'm over here like obsessed with this dog. And I'm like, oh, I want to take it home. Yeah. And so I'm like petting it. I was like, oh my God, he's so cute. I'm asking a question about his dog or whatever. And he walks away. But that wasn't necessarily the warm and fuzzy part. The warm and fuzzy part was come Monday, his group comes in. And as soon as he sees me, his face lights up, and he's like, and he tries to tell every student in the class. He's like, "I saw him, I saw him at the grocery store." Cool. Yeah, he's like, "I saw him at the grocery store yesterday, and this and that." And then the kids are like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, I saw him at the store." And then the other teachers in the classroom, they're like, "Is that he saw?" And I was like, "Yeah, I bumped into him at the grocery store. He had his puppy and everything, and it was a very nice experience, and it was cool. It was a beautiful puppy." Yeah. And he's all like, "Yeah." And then he gets to my group in that same moment. He's all like, "I saw you at the store on Sunday." And blah, blah, blah. So things like that just kind of reaffirmed to me that I'm like, you're important to somebody, and you're changing these kids' life, and you're kind of giving them something to look forward to, because you can tell that he was just waiting to kind of let that emotion out, to be like, like, I saw you, and he just wanted that moment of recognition, and that kind of makes my job worth it, And so to me, it's almost like a recharge of my batteries, because it's kind of like, I can feel fatigued, but at the end of the day, you're doing this for the better of these children, and it's for the kids, man, and they're the future. And so that kind of made me feel warm and fuzzy, because I'm like, man, all my job is it's worth it, and even though I might feel strained or might feel tired, like sometimes I feel like I don't want to do it anymore. I'm like, these little moments are kind of like, oh man, I'm making a difference, So that was a nice
man. That's really beautiful, man, honestly, because the reality is, I don't know the situation, but we don't really know what goes on at home.
Exactly.
And not to make it dark, but to say, we don't know how much attention they get, or how their parents treat them. And so for him to like just appreciate seeing you, just being in your presence for a little bit, and then feeling special about it too, and telling all the kids I saw him and you did it. That's so cool, man. That's why I say it's a noble profession, because you are making an impression in these lives. And I remember how I felt when I was going through middle school, and when I got into high school, I would go back to my middle school and like see my favorite teachers again, and like I want them to see how I got taller, and so you really do leave a mark on these kids, and I think that's dope, man. That's so cool, bro.
Yeah, if you can form even a little part of their life and their journey, it makes it all worth it. So yeah, that was kind of cool.
I hope he watches this pod so he could see how you spoke about him too.
Yeah, he should. One day I'm gonna be like, hey, go watch my pod real quick. I spoke about you.
And tell all your friends, not just playing. Nah, that's cool,
you
man.
Never know, but
that's beautiful.
Yeah, man, it's cool that we're able to share those little moments. So we can kind of get a little deep, get a little soft. Yeah. And just be able to dig deep and kind of find those moments to kind of talk about. So.
Yeah, man. Now I know you don't like awkward silences. But
ASMR moment.
Yeah. Is there anything else that like kind of? Let's make people mad. Let's do it. Ready? Hold on, let's go. If I was you, I would stop this video also at this point. Yeah. No, but fun fact: there are plants that have this. I don't know if it's an instinct, but this built-in characteristic about them where they have to face the sun. Like a sunflower, for example. A sunflower will always face or move towards the sun.
Right.
Now, we have what's called
that in itself is a fun fact, because not a lot of people knew that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But it gets better for me, or it gets better. We have what's called a biological clock. It has a real name, and I just blanked on it, but it's do you know what it is? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Keep going, maybe it'll come to
okay, so we have a biological clock, which means our bodies and our cells are accustomed or programmed to move at certain. It has to do with like if we go to China, we fly to China, we get off the plane, what do you start to feel? You get jet lagged because there's a difference in time.
Right.
Because your body and your cells are accustomed to being awake at this time and sleeping at this time. So plants have that too, and it's going to kill me that I don't remember, and I don't have my phone to Google it. Please Google it, or maybe I'll throw it in the bottom of the screen. Plants have that too. So if you can stick a sunflower in a dark room, and it will still face the sun without seeing it, because it has this biological clock.
That's awesome.
It's the same thing with like roosters. Roosters normally crow in the morning. They see the sun and they crow. You can stick them in.
I think a crow crows.
What do roosters do?
Don't
say cock-a-doodle-doo.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
Oh my God. Hey, man, we gotta take it back to elementary.
What do they do?
They crow. They crow.
A crow crows.
God, I hate that I say that with such confidence. And if I'm wrong,
you about to
please. Forgive me if I'm wrong.
What's a crow?
No, they crow like they go. That's
they do what?
Cock-a-doodle-doo is what you tell my. Are you gonna tell my son? Hey, cock-a-doodle-doo. Cock-a-doodle-doo. No, man. Oh my God. I mean, oh my gosh.
If the term is cock-a-doodle-doo, ooh, you know what? You're gonna hear it episode 3.
I almost want to call the wife and be like, "Yo, come here and tell us what it is." But I'm just gonna say that they crow.
ahead, call them
But you
over.
know what I mean, right?
Call them over real quick.
It's a thing in the beginning.
You
want me to call them
we
over?
ain't gonna pass them over until you call them over.
All right, but before I do, have you heard that song? That Spanish song where it starts with their Vivo por tres. I was like, yeah, that's that song. Don't listen to that. Hold on.
We're about to call them over and see what they would refer to the term.
Babe.
And usually we'll do that at something that's in the morning.
I can't hear him. Hold on. Babe.
They might be outside. They might have
They might have went to Target.
They might have done a Target run and we didn't even know.
You know how wives are. They go to Target. They go spend all their money.
TBD.
Yeah.
To be determined. Anyway.
Maybe we'll bring it up next episode. But anyway, so with roosters, their biological clock also helps them to know when to cock-a-doodle-doo or to crow. You can stick them in a dark room, and they don't have to see the sun. Right. They already know when the sun comes out, and they can do it in the room anyway.
It's kind of like us, right? When you have an alarm all the time, and then that one day your alarm is not on, your body will kind of almost wake up at the exact time your alarm is supposed to go off.
It's called circadian rhythm.
Okay.
I just remembered it.
Got to you.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I think that's cool, man, that living organisms can have that.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, like, how do we even get that? But yeah, it's cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that's a cool little fun fact to leave this episode off on, man.
All right. Yeah, man. How you feel?
I feel good.
Me too.
I feel good still, man. And
I'm hungry though.
I am starving, but hopefully the viewers can get a lot of information and knowledge out of this. You probably won't, but at least it'll be a good view,
We're not
good listen.
Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it.
Yes.
And I guess, this has been great. I'll just go ahead and do the outro. I'll sound as professional as possible.
Let's do it.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning into episode 2. We really appreciate all your support. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And peace.
Peace. Like and subscribe.